Hi, and welcome to my channel. Yes, I'm a little bit sick, just really my voice and my throat, so just know that I feel great. I sound a little bit weird, so I'm going to try not to elevate my voice today while we're chatting, but I wanted to come talk about a couple of things before we get started. Number one, I am continuing to have so many issues with the save files that I have that use CC and mods. And I know that's because the Sims game is constantly updating and the mods need to be updated. But there are situations where maybe I have so many mods that I've used, especially in the Ultimate Decades, that when I switch out those mods, there's so many little things to go back and change and redo and renew. And when one little thing is broken or one little thing gets missed, the game won't load. And that is actually the situation that I'm having now, where I don't have a problem loading some households, but like my main household will not load up right now, which is fine because I'm not playing them at the moment. But in order to have the medieval clothing and the medieval home decorations and all of that, it just makes it an incredibly CC heavy build and lot. And so I think it has a hard time sometimes loading all of that stuff in there, because it's not just like I use some hairs with some people. Everybody in the house is wearing some form of CC. Every room in the house is decorated and usually built with some form of CC. And so I think that using that and using the mods and then replacing the mods with the newest versions of them, it cannot be good for the game, is what I'm saying. And it's been really nice recently to play other games that don't require mods to be able to play them correctly, which I get that you don't need mods to play The Sims, and I could do it if I were not playing an Ultimate Decades. But that's what we're going to be talking about, is how to play an Ultimate Decades. So my first warning to you is to be aware of the amount of mods and CC that you are using with this game, and try to keep it to a minimum, because we are now on my second save file in this family. And I can see potentially where this is about to get corrupted as well. And we might have to move to another save file, which is a lot of work for you as the player, because you've got to go find all your people, make sure they make it over to the next save file. And there's just lots of stuff to do. So that is my first caveat about this whole thing, is please make sure you use the minimum amount of mods, unless you don't mind starting over. Okay, that is my PSA about the Ultimate Decades and kind of my first warning about it. Here's some other things that I'm going to do during this little course that you're about to take. Ultimate Decades 101. Number one, I did not create this. I am going to link to people that I talk about every time I talk about them. That is very important to me. If you hear me say somebody and I do not have it in the description, please call me out in the comments and I will get their link added as soon as possible. I did not make up any of this stuff. This all came from other people. There are a few things that I will touch on at the very end about how I made this my own kind of challenge, but everything else that I'm going to talk about came from other people. And so we're going to talk about those other people. Also, I'm not going to show you everything that they have already said. I'm going to point you to their videos where you can see it from them saying it. I will try to condense a bunch of stuff into like a more manageable chunk, maybe, but I still want you to go check out their videos to see the way they've done things. At the very beginning, I'm going to do two specific shout outs, and I apologize. I'm not sure that they're both still making videos in their Ultimate Decades, but I still want to bring them up because I think it's important that we show that people are taking this and really making it their own. So the first person that I saw take this and make it something completely different from Morbid was Awkward Chocho Gaming. And she did an Ultimate Decades in Japan. She started in the 1550s, and she goes through every one of the years just the same. I watched probably the first 20 or so of these, and then I have not caught up with the rest of them. But we can see from the title that they're also in Korea for part of these as well. And the last one that it says she has posted was 7 months ago, right here, number 49 in the 1610. So she almost made it 100 years. So you guys go check that out if you haven't already. And the other one is Noelle at Originelle. And she is doing she calls it the Sim 4 Black Ultimate Decades Challenge. And she started in the 1300s. And she also started with her family being royalty. So I loved the way she's playing it. I loved also when she started it in these first few episodes. She's like, I am having a hard time getting this mod to work, or I'm having a hard time getting this part of the thing to work. And that is just how it is. And I like that she's sharing the hardships that she's having along the way. But she starts out with some drama in the very first couple of episodes. I have watched all the way through episode 11 right here. And I need to catch up on these as well. But she has gone all the way through to episode 27, which was 4 months ago. So hopefully these videos will continue to come out as well. But I just wanted to shout out those two creators that I feel like are really doing their own thing. Like they've taken this challenge and they've made it fit the things that they know and the things that they like and how they want to do it. So go check out those two creators. Now, y'all all know where this came from. I don't feel like you made it to my channel without already having been at Morbid's channel, but let me get out of the way and let's look at it. All right, I'm just going to get right up here in the corner. This link is already in my description box. At least I'm pretty sure it's in there. If not, I'll make sure that it's in there. This is just the main information page for Morbid's Ultimate Decades Challenge. You can see she's planning to do 1300 to 2020. Now, those of you who are not up on what's going on with Morbid, Morbid has stepped back for a while for right now from doing videos and updating the challenge. So it stops sometime in the 1500s or 1600s. I'm trying not to look that far ahead. I'm in the 1400s and that is done. So that is the only part I'm worried about right now. We'll talk about the other stuff when we get there later. But the 1300s and 1400s are done. I'm pretty sure the 1600s are done because that was when Morbid originally started her challenge, was in the 1600s. So that's done as well. I'm not going to go through this whole thing right here. There is a specific video that Morbid did where she talks about her thing and what happens, what she intended to say in all of these things, what they mean for you, because people were having a question, especially in some of the aging things. People wanted to know what they were doing, how they set things up. So for all of these things, go watch her video for it. I'm not taking away from anything that she's done or she's created by reading to you the things that she's done. And she talks about all of these things in her video. So you ask, what are you going to talk about in this video? What I'm going to talk about is MC Command Center. Here we are with our father Beckett Solomon, and we're going to talk about the settings that I have for MC Command Center and how I use MC Command Center in this game, and some settings that I'm going to use going forward, because Deaderpool is the person who came up with the MC Command Center. They're the ones that run that app, that mod, and they are constantly adding new things and changing things up. And so I'm probably going to find some things even today that need to be changed in my game or updated. So we're going to go down here where Father Solomon actually lives, and we're just going to quickly throw a computer up, because first of all, what you need to know about MC Command Centers, there's 3 different ways to get into it, and there's 3 different kind of menus that you can use. Menu number 1 is on a sim. When you click on them, you have this MC Command Center. We will talk about what those things are later. Also, on the mailboxes of the houses, if I can find his mailbox. Okay, on the mailboxes, we have MC Cheats, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then on a computer, we have MC Command Center, and that is where we're starting. It does not matter what kind of computer it is or anything about it. It doesn't matter which way it's facing. It doesn't matter if anybody can sit at it. There are some CCs that give you a computer that looks like a typewriter. And so I've used it as decoration in the past and put a chair. If you put a chair just a little bit to the side where it looks like it goes with that desk, but Sims can't actually sit at it, then they won't use the computer all the time. So when you click on the computer, any computer, it says MC Command Center. And this is where you're going to have the most settings available to you. Now, I'm also assuming that you have downloaded MC Command Center and MC Woohoo. They do not have those two mods placed together for reasons of content and age usage. You can read it about it on their website, why they do not have those together. But it has to do with the content that's available in the MC Woohoo. It needs to be separate for them and where they share their stuff. So that being said, I have both of them. I'm assuming that you do as well. Now, every time you load up a game for the first time, you create a file in your MCCC folder that says settings. So just know that when you go in and you change something, you're creating a little settings. And then when you play a different file, you're still going to have those same settings from MC Command Center. They don't go anywhere until you tell them to go somewhere. So we will deal with that when we're talking about our file storage and organization, and that's going to be in an upcoming video. So right now, just know that when you place settings for MC Command Center in any of your games, if you're not touching those settings, they're staying consistent in every single game that you play with MC Command Center on. So let's look at the settings first. So we have autosave. Autosave will save your game at a specific time. It gives it another number and it just puts it in your save file. That is for people who do not have anybody to remind them to save all the time, like I have cats. And so it is just a save that says your game is automatically saved. You're good to go. Keep going. It'll actually pop up and ask you. You can say how often you want to have it saved. The most frequently that you can do it is every sim day. So every 24 hours in The Sims, it'll pop up and say, we're ready for a new save. Let's save this game again. Those are easily deletable after you're done. If you are worried about your saves getting lost or you don't save that often, autosave is very good for you. Then we go to gameplay settings. The first one is to adopt neglected children. So I'm going to tell you, first of all, every time you're looking at one of these things, one of these graphics, where it has the debtor pool symbol, that is the default. So that's what your game is set at automatically without doing anything. And right now it's disabled. And what that means is if a baby dies, in my world dies, they get whisked away, right? So if I enable it, then they actually get adopted by someone else in the world. Now, the reason that I stopped doing this is because my world started getting populated with people who were technically related biologically to my family, but because the way adoption works in The Sims, once somebody is adopted, then they fall under another family tree, and it doesn't even look like they're related to you anymore. So those kids weren't technically related in The Sims, but they were related in my tree. And so I was like, I can't have them just wandering the world anymore. So it has been disabled. I do know that now with the new Life and Death expansion, neglected children go into a different file or a different place and you can actually put them in your family, but I have not played enough with that to know what's going on. So that is adopted neglected child. This is adopt when there's no caregiver. So once the caregiver has died, then the horses, the pets, that's how it happens a lot. You'll see pop-ups that are like, so-and-so got adopted by this house and this house and this house, because there were a lot of people in that family when the main caregiver died. So Sims has that enabled. I went ahead and enabled that too. That's not a problem that I usually have with my main people dying. I handle what's going to happen with the kids before I just let somebody die. Okay. I'm not going through all of these. I just want to hit on the things that I think matter in my game and why I chose the ones I chose. Ultimately, everything in here is up to you to pick how you want to do it. The other thing that I do in here is the maximum household size. I do have mine up on 70, but that's only because I didn't want anybody dealing with anything. You can set it up to 104 people. Yes, you can have 104 Sims in your house. I do not recommend it unless you have a very top-notch gaming computer. But 70. If you change this number, you will have to restart your game for it to take effect. So don't come in, change your game, change your number to 10 kids, and then try to have a kid, because it's not going to work. You've got to restart your game when you do that. Maximum rename length is literally how many letters you can put in somebody's name. So you can go all the way up to 255. However, when you go into CAS, if you go into CAS normally, it's going to cut their name off. So I just leave it like it is. It's fine. The rest of the stuff, the neighborhood action plans to bypass, I can literally say, I never want it to have we wear bags. Like, you can go in and take sharing is caring off, roughhousing encouraged off. Let's take off juiced community, free love, since free love caused so many problems that I had before. Yeah, so I'm going to bypass. When voting occurs, those will not be available to vote for. So you can change that or not change that, whatever. This pause on zone is very important to me because I want to be able to load up my game, and then if I want to run and grab a drink or run and go to the bathroom while my game is loading, I know that when the game loads in, it's going to automatically pause. So I really like it to pause on the zone. You don't have to worry about it. That's literally why I have it. It's not normally a thing. Also, that setting right there is what caused all the problems with at the beginning of the Grim event. When everybody who had this mod, it was messing them up. It was the pause on zone that was messing you up. Then Sims are immortal. I leave this disabled. There's no reason, I need my Sims to die. The Sims die on lot can be up to you. I have it disabled because when I kill a Sim, I need them to just die wherever they are. I don't want them to immediately turn into ghosts and lose their stuff. So I just want them to die where they are. I don't care about teleporting Sims overlapping. It just means they won't stand on top of another Sim if you turn this off. I don't care. I don't care what they do. And then the rest of these, I don't worry about the skill setting, the random aging. I don't worry about the rest of them. So that's everything under gameplay. The rest of these won't take as long to go through, by the way, just this one. That seems to be the biggest one. Allow child to pay bills. Do you want to do that? Do you want your children to be able to go to the mailbox and pay the bills? I do. So I enable that. That's literally it. Auto pay bills. Some people have that enabled and then they don't have to worry about the bills at all. I like to know how much my bills are and whether I have money or not. You can change the bills where you have less bills than you normally would, and you just set that. Anytime it has this minimum value is -100 and the maximum is 1,000, that is because it is a percentage. So right now at 0, you're paying 100% of the bills. So if you wanted to double it and pay an extra 100% of the bills, you would put 100 in there. If you wanted to pay half of the bills, you would put -50 in there, right? That's half of what you're paying right now. That's minus half. So that's how it works. And then you save that. I don't do child support, but this is where the child support is. I'm not doing any inheritance stuff, especially now that we have life and death. I'm going to be using that inheritance stuff. And then also child support is down here. So that sets all that up if that's how you want to play. Also, I know I'm making this video for Ultimate Decades, but if you're using this in a modern setting, MC Command Center still has a lot of things that can help you. So the notification stuff, I get a lot of notifications in this game, and I actually think I'm going to be changing some of them. So this one, I do have move objects enabled all the time, but because I'm also using Better Build By, I just have move objects turned on through there as well. So move objects is on all the time in my game, but this is where, sorry, I kind of went too fast. In the console command settings, under Build By, you can say, do you want to show all of the debug things, the things in the build by that are debug items? Do you want to have free build enabled, which means you can build in any lot that you're in? If I go to the hospital lot, I can build at the hospital lot because I have free build enabled. Other than free build and move objects and the by debug, I don't have anything else turned on because I use Better Build By for most of my build things in there. Then we have debug commands in cheats. So this just says when you have your testing cheats enabled, you can use debug commands. That's something that you have to Google anytime you want to use those. I have to Google them when I want to use them. So this one I use all the time. Enable full edit in CAS. That is, you know how when you load into CAS in the regular vanilla game and it's like you can't edit the gender, the age, the relationships. There's a lot of stuff in that top left corner that you can't edit on your sim in CAS because you're not in the full edit CAS like you are when you first create your character. So I have that enabled so that I can edit anything I need to edit. If I need to change somebody's name, if I need to change their relationship to somebody else, I can do all of that in the full edit CAS. Headline effects is the stuff over your head. Like, do you want the little plumb bob to still be above their head or not? You can turn it off right here. I will say that I like it better when it's on. Then my Sims are easier to find. And it's easier for me to know who is who. But a lot of Simmers, especially when they're taking pictures of their Sims, they turn off the headline effects just so nobody has a plumb bob over their head. Or anything else. Nothing else pops up. Testing cheats just means testing cheats are always on when you load the game. I leave those on as well because that helps me with the rest of the cheats if testing cheats are just always on. So those are the console command settings. Logging settings, I don't do anything with these. It's got something to do with last exceptions and how that is notified and logging. I don't know. I feel like that's not anything I need to worry about. The notification settings. I have a lot of these on. We're going to look at them. So this is aging and death notifications. Show age up notifications. I do not care. It'll tell you everybody who ages up when it's their birthday. I don't want to know all that. Show death notifications. I have everybody on here. When they die, I want to know about it when a sim dies. Show NPC birthday notifications. No, thank you. And show pet death notifications. No. So I don't get any of those for aging. I just get the death notifications. For the populations, do I want to know when there's an empty house? No. Do I want to know when people move? No. But you can if you want to. MC pregnancy notifications. Now this, show birth details. No. Show birth notifications? Yes. So I have that checked for everybody. Show marriage notifications, also yes, just because I'm nosy. Show pregnancy affair notifications. When a sim has an affair and a pregnancy occurs, this is not a thing that happens in my house. I just left it at no. Show pregnancy notifications, no. I just want to know when they've had a baby. I don't care when they're pregnant. And show relationship changes. I also said no. That is all up to you. It depends on how nosy you want to be. What notifications you want to pop up. Those run once or twice a day. I think it's once a day in the sim day. You'll get a whole bunch of pop-ups. So also if your screen doesn't do well with a lot of pop-ups at the same time, maybe that's not a good thing to turn on. For the neighborhood stories, you can show all of these things: adoptions, career, death, pet, population, pregnancy. I don't care about neighborhood stories, especially in this save file. That's not what I'm doing. Show club monitor notifications. I do have that turned on. It's like so-and-so is looking for a club. I'm actually turning that off because I don't care about that. Then we have show notifications, like show module specific notifications as notification posts. So if MC Command Center has a notification, it's going to pop up in my game. Okay, and then for the show version update notifications, I have this turned off. But what this does, I used to have it set to always check. And that means that every time the game is loaded, it looks at MC Command Center's website and checks that version against your version and says to you like, oh, there's a newer version than the one you have. The reason I have this turned off is because I've become a member of MC Command Center's Patreon. And so I get updates before the website does. So it was a little bit confusing to me. So I've turned that off, but I did have it on and it was very helpful. So that's all the notification settings. Phone text, I just said no text. You can deal with that. Festival text, all text, no text, however you want to do it. I just don't want any. There are menus that you can bypass, specific menus where it just won't show you things. So like the cheats menu I told you was on the mailbox. The computer menu is on the computer and the sim menu is on the Sims. I had no idea that there was a gnome menu. Okay, but here's what it says. If it's enabled, which it's not on a default, MC Command Center menu is visible on gnome sculptures, allowing various teleportation options. So you can teleport gnomes. I'm going to say with the shift key. But see, I got a pop-up up here. Oh, you can't see. My face is in the way. I got a pop-up up here that says a game restart is required for the gnome menu type shift. So it tells you what you've done and that you need to restart the game for that. So that's it for the notifications, console menus, all that stuff. Now we're down to the relationship settings. These might be important for your MC command, for your Ultimate Decades, however you're playing it. Allow teen parenting. I said yes. It just means that teens can earn the parenting skill. That's all it means at this point. Auto relationship settings, I don't do any of this stuff. I'm not worried about what's happening with that stuff. I'm also not worrying about the relationship culling that it does. I would rather my Sims game not keep up with every ancestor that we've ever had because I'm using a family tree for that. Also coming in a future video. But I don't want the Sims using all of its stuff to keep up with all of my ancestors, especially because it's not going to be accurate. And so I would rather keep up with that myself and just let them cull the relationships so that it doesn't take as much stuff to run the game because we have a lot of Sims in here. The romance difficulty adjustment, it's set at the default 0, but I'm thinking that I might need to change this because with the new Love Pack, Love Struck, I forgot what it's called. It seems to happen very quickly. The decay seems to happen very fast. And I don't want my people having to deal with relationship stuff constantly while they're trying to raise their families and all that stuff. So we're back out here to the settings. The last one is the age span duration. Now, I don't touch this at all. Some people go in and change it. You want to click on human. You're going to be changing the time span of whichever one of these lifespans you set. So in your regular play, if you play on normal lifespan all the time, don't change the normal lifespan here because that's going to override what's happening in the Sims game. So if you never play on long span, then change long. That's fine. And then you're going to use Morbid's charts over here where she did it right here for how many days each age lasts. And that's what you're going to set over here. So for a baby, you're going to set it to 1 day. For an infant, you're going to set it to however many days. I have aging turned off because I use my spreadsheet to tell me when birthdays are. And I don't want to get confused and have one of my side households age up when I'm not there and ready for any of that to happen. So to avoid that, I just have aging completely turned off. Now, I did hear from Megan Plays Sims, which I'm going to link her video below, where she talks about her settings for MC Command Center in Ultimate Decade. She recommends doing this so that the townies age at the same rate that your Sims age. So if that's important to you, definitely set your age span duration the way you want it to go. It's not important to me. I don't care about it, so I'm not setting it. I'm going to go over one more of the MC Command Center settings that I think is the most important because the ones under settings I think are most important. And then the last one that I think is important is the MC Woohoo for pregnancy. So you're specifically going to Woohoo pregnancy and you're going to say try for baby %. And you need that % there to match what Morbid has over here for the decade that you're playing and the age of the female sim that you're playing. So you need that to match. If it's a teen, it's going to be at 30%. A young adult is 25, adult is 20. A second part of your adult is only 10%, and elders are at 0. So that's what you're going to do if you are only trying for a baby. If you're getting into the rest of it where you're having risky woohoo with Sims, then you're going to need to come in here into this risky woohoo setting and make sure all of those are set for each one of your age groups the way they should be. And then again, going back to Megan, what she said she did is for the try for baby %, she did that at 100 because she only uses try for baby at her side families in order to for sure get them pregnant. And then at her home, she uses the risky woohoo And that is set at the certain percentage. So if you want to do it like that as well. There is one more thing. Sorry, the most important. I am going to come back in the next episode. We're going to hit on some more of the MC Command Center. But as far as like, I'm super ready to play, what do I need to do? That's what I'm covering in episode 1. And in episode 1, you're good to go to start your game. MC clubs. You do want to change the club member count. And I've just set the max at 50. I don't think I have 50 people in any of my clubs, but I changed it to 50 so that I could if I needed to. And then you guys, if you've been watching my videos, you know that my clubs are divided up by family colors and family units. And so you can also change, if you want to, how many clubs people can join. So everybody can join 3 clubs right now. You can set it to 50. The default is 3. I'm leaving it at 3 because I don't have more than 3 clubs right now that anybody would need to join. And so you can handle club stuff here if that's how you handle your Sims. Another thing, I don't think that he's in a club. He's not in a club, but I'm going to show you this. So let's say he joined this Garden Gnomes club, which I'm going to get him out of, but let me show you this. From this menu, you can click on this person and go to MC Command Center, and I can do all the things that I could do from his house, I can do right here. So the last tip about MC Command Center that I'm going to give you is if you have your household size set for more than 8 Sims, never, ever, ever click on a mirror to go into CAS. Always click on the Sim, click MC Command Center, and modify household in CAS, the very first one. If you have 30 people, actually, if you have more than 8 people in your house, it's only going to show you the one Sim that you've clicked on, but it doesn't delete anybody else. If you have more than 8 Sims in your house and you click on a mirror, it is going to choose 8 of those Sims to keep in your house and everybody else is gone. So do not do it that way. Always click from here to get into CAS. I've just actually taught myself to always go to CAS this way, no matter what game I'm playing, no matter how many people are in my house, I always click here to go to CAS like this. That has saved me so many times in the past from bad things happening to my Sims. So please let me know any questions that you have about this initial episode number 1. I can tell you that in episode number 2, we are going to be going over the rest of MC Command Center, how it works with the computer and the people and the mailbox, and maybe I'll find a gnome and we can see how it works with the gnome. And then we're going to be going over some extra mods that you can add in or not add in. It's up to you, however you want to do that. And then finally, we're going to be talking about the family tree and how you can make this your own. Make this challenge fit you and the way you want to play it and the extras that you want to add in and the things that you want to do. Like just some ideas that other people have done, things that I'm doing, all kinds of stuff like that. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for putting up with my very sick sounding voice. I will see you guys in my next episode. Bye.